For my grandmother, right, to live in a time where they invented airplanes, for goodness sake, and telephones was remarkable. Well, you know, we'll have four generational equivalents of those in our lifetimes, because the pace of change just accelerates over time. And one of the things that has been driving that acceleration in the last 20 years has been this so-called digital technology. And to give you some sense of how dramatic and rapid change is today, and it's only going to get faster, I will recite my own history with sort of digital technologies and companies built on digital technologies. If I were to ask you what American company had the greatest return to shareholders in the decade of the 90s, that is to say, the highest stock price appreciation over the course of the decade. Anybody know? It was AOL. AOL's stock price grew more and more rapidly than any other company, 14,000 public companies in America, any other company during the decade of the 90s. Here we are 8 years later. AOL is just a footnote whenever you read articles about internet companies today. All right? And who replaced AOL as the hot shooter? By the way, when we did, as Time Warner, when we did the merger with AOL, Time Warner, a company that had been around for 75, 80 years, which had household name brands, I mean gold standard brands in their magazine group, Time Magazine, Fortune, People, Sports Illustrated, in their cinema group, Warner Brothers, in the cable business, in the music business, we had, Warner Music Group, which was the #1 record label in the country back in the 70s. And we had just company after company after company that were just household names in terms of who we represented and who we were. Time Warner had a market cap of about $100 billion back at the turn of the century, back in 2000. AOL had a market cap, which AOL, a company was around less than 15 years and had hit its growth stride less than 10 years ago, had a market cap of $200 billion at that time. Today, you almost couldn't give AOL away. They were replaced by Yahoo. Yahoo was going to be the next company that was going to sort of take over the world on the back of this digital technology, and that lasted for just about a couple of years. Yahoo pioneered in the free-to-web portal. And then somebody came along and obsoleted them. They were called Google. And Google, if you read the papers today, or certainly if you read the papers 6, 8 months ago, you would think that Google was about to take over the world. And then along come these things called social networks, MyFace, Facebook, which just had a valuation of $15 billion put on it by Microsoft. Every third or fourth year, there's some new company that comes along and seems to shoot to the moon, and it's going to represent the future. Things are changing so rapidly in this space that it's hard to keep up. And the scary part is only going to accelerate, because we do live in a world of fantastic and accelerating change.